Alright guys, so there comes a time during every single season of Apex where the game just isn't as fun as it usually is, and this usually takes place towards the end of a season or towards the end of a content cycle, right? And this takes place with every single game out right now, every single Battle Royale game out right now as well. If that game has any sort of content cycle, obviously towards the end of one specific content cycle or one season, the game isn't going to be as fresh and enjoyable, right? It just makes sense. So naturally, because season 6 is what, 2 or 3 weeks away at this point, it only makes sense for season 5 to be kind of dry and boring right now, right? It just makes sense. That's how it's supposed to be, and it's kind of inevitable for a game to be less enjoyable towards the end of a season because everyone has already kind of like gotten used to all of the content, and most likely everyone will get burnt out of that content towards the end of that season, right? But there are some things that can be done to still make the season somewhat enjoyable even if we're coming towards the end of it, right? So I think that Apex right now is in one of the most, I would say, boring states it's been in a very long time because the content is dry. We're not really seeing new content, new LTMs, new game modes. I mean, Respawn just had the summer sale, which was the only form of new content we got in a while, and obviously it was just stuff to buy in the game, so it really wasn't content, it was just a sale, right? I want to talk about Apex being quote-unquote boring once again in this video, and if you guys get offended by me calling this game boring right now, it's not in a negative way. Obviously I still enjoy this game, I still play it almost every single day, and it's again me just giving constructive criticism on how to like make this game more enjoyable for future seasons. So if you guys do enjoy, as always, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I have a personal goal of reaching 40k subs by season 6, so we basically have 3 weeks to get 5k subs, which might sound kind of far, but I definitely think it's possible, and if you guys want to help me out, click that sub button right now. I'd really appreciate that. Alright, so my very first solution to this content drought towards the end of a season is for Respawn to give us some sort of incentive to grind throughout the season. So like, let's take for example Warzone, right? Or just Modern Warfare on a whole. Modern Warfare has something called unlockable camos. So basically you have, like, I think in Modern Warfare it's called Damascus, where basically if you get gold for every single camo in that game, you get this Damascus unlockable camo, which to me is a very good idea because it gives you some sort of incentive to play the game, but it's also really good end game content, and right now in Apex we don't have that much, you know, solid end game content. So maybe if Respawn were to implement some sort of content to grind for some sort of weapon skin, some sort of legend skin that will take a very long time to grind for and also will keep you occupied throughout the entirety of a season, then that should be a very good way of making the season less boring when it comes down towards the end of it. So what do you guys think of more things to grind for in Apex that actually give you an incentive to play the game a lot more? Now I think we also should see some more general content in Apex, so more LTMs, more game modes, because right now in Apex there's actually no set pattern or no set schedule in the way that Respawn actually releases these LTMs, and I actually saw Candy Drew talking about this over on Twitter, guys. But basically if Respawn gave us some sort of like planned set content schedule, then I think the kind of like boring aspect of Apex would go away at least a bit, because we'd have more expectations, we will know when to expect content as well, and we wouldn't just be here like waiting, just hoping for some sort of new content drop in Apex. Now obviously brand new LTMs and game modes do take a while to develop, and the devs have a lot of work to do when actually implementing those stuff into the game, but I think in season 5 we only had one LTM so far, and that was the Armed and Dangerous Evolved. So yeah, we need to see more LTMs, we need to see more LTMs in Apex. So let's say Respawn gave us a schedule and we know for a fact that every 2 weeks we'd be getting a brand new LTM in Apex. It kind of builds hype, it kind of keeps everyone interested as well, because we all know when to look forward to brand new content in this game, and having solid expectations for a game in terms of content is always very good because you know what you're getting yourself into, right? When you're just waiting, guys, and just hoping for some sort of new content to drop, it kind of makes it a bit boring and tedious as well. So going into season 6, I would love to see more planned content, more scheduled content as well, because that simple change right there would make a huge difference in how everyone actually feels about the content drought right now in Apex. So yeah, now talking about LTMs, guys, we should have at least one more LTM coming very soon in season 5 thanks to a leak by Structal, and this right here is actually the Always Be Closing LTM we had in season 4 with the Grand Soiree event. Now it's actually the always be closing LTM with evolved armor as well, so Evo Shields should be a very interesting addition in this LTM, and I can't wait to see how it actually plays out. But at least we have one more LTM to expect before season 5 does close. Now to end off this video, I want to ask you guys, right, what do you currently think of the state of Apex? Do you think it's boring? Do you think it's fun? And do you think we need to see more frequent content being introduced into this game for it to be fun and for it to not be as dry towards the end of a season? Now, as I said earlier on, right, this season always isn't going to be as fun towards the end of it because everyone has kind of played all of the content in that season, so it's kind of expected for it to be less fun, less fresh, and less enjoyable. But I think that there should be things in place to minimize the dryness of a season coming down towards the end of it. So comment your thoughts right now. How do you think Respawn should go about making at least season 6 less, I don't know, boring towards the end of it? And what are your general ideas to make Apex less boring right now, if you even think Apex is boring right now? Let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in some more Apex. Till next time.